Welcome, friends, to my new Da Nang, Vietnam studio. Seems like the location of where I record these videos changes every month or two. That's because it does. Let me give you a quick little look at this place with my phone. So here we are in the temporary studio apartment. Not very big. Little setup here. Aputure MC light, very good for traveling. Tiny kitchen, and little bedroom, etc. So we are going to be moving into a one-bedroom next week, but this will have to do for now. Anyways, I digress. Over this past year, there have been a lot of aspects of my life that have become problems. Alcohol, nicotine, my work ethic, my career progression, and even traveling. Probably some other things too, but there's a lot going on up in here in this messy brain.
You really are crazy.
It feels as if, though, all of a sudden, simultaneously, all of these things are standing right in front of me, staring me in the face. And that's been pretty overwhelming. I understand that improving yourself is not an overnight task. It's a long, you could say a lifelong almost, grind. But of course, my stubborn, impatient ass has to make things a lot more difficult than they have to be sometimes. So what's my plan to actually solve any of this then? Well, to change everything all at the same time. That's the only plan I've ever known. It's not necessarily a smart one. But right now, for the sake of the length of this video, I only want to focus on one. And that one is alcohol. But for us to do that, we're gonna have to rewind the tape a little bit. I've been boozing pretty hard since I was about 15, 16 years old. And in all honesty, I don't think I've been completely sober for over a month since that time. Has alcohol ever impacted my ability to function in society? Nope. How about performing great at my job or getting new jobs? Creating and maintaining relationships with friends and family? Absolutely not. Well then, what the hell's the problem? How do we actually know when something has become a problem? I've never had anyone in my life say to me that they're a little bit worried I'm developing a bad habit or I seem to have a problem with drinking. In fact, based on almost all of society's metrics for what an alcoholic is, I am not one. Unless standard drinks consumed per week is a big metric, because maybe at some points in my life I might have actually been considered one then. You get the point though. It's one of the only, and I know a lot of people say this, when they're preaching don't drink, but it's one of the only things where if you stop doing it, then society thinks you must have had a problem. Why would you stop drinking if you're not an alcoholic? Well, because for once in my life, alcohol actually feels like it's getting in the way of who I want to become and what I want to be or become. Anyone who knows me knows that most of my life has been pretty directionless. And I don't say that in a bad way, but I've just always kind of rolled with it. Never knowing where I was going to work or where I was going to be or live. I've just been flowing through, enjoying whatever happens, and not really caring about the outcome too much. As you can imagine, alcohol was a perfect match for that version of me. It was a match made in heaven. The fun, carefree, ambitionless version of me. We loved each other. But things change for all of us, and what wasn't a problem has now become a pretty big one. Okay, I do realize I've just gone through this whole video without explaining to you that I've decided to take all of 2024 off alcohol or do a whole year of sobriety. And I guess, like I briefly mentioned in the beginning, to some that might not be a big deal, but for someone who's really never gone longer than a month, I'm really fascinated to see what's going to happen. Now, the idea was to also monitor throughout the year how I feel, and after 27 days, I've got to be honest, I don't really notice much of a difference. A lot of people say 90 days is when you start to actually feel a lot of the brain fog lift and maybe your mood just become a little bit more balanced. But I also understand, as I mentioned earlier, that things don't change overnight and it's going to take a lot of work to get where I want to be. So for once, I'm going to be patient and hopefully get the outcome I'm looking for. There's also one last thing I want to mention, which is that a lot of people put alcohol-free living content on YouTube and other social media platforms, which I think is great. But the one thing I don't like is trying to put people down for the certain lifestyle they choose to live. If you drink and it's not a problem, then good for you. I don't think this is for everybody. I don't think it needs to be for everybody. Like I said myself, could I continue to function with booze? Yeah, for sure. But will I be able to reach the peaks that I might want to in my life, or reach the person I'm aspiring to become? Well, maybe not. I don't know either way. The whole point is I'm just trying something a little bit different. And if that works for you, then you should maybe try it too. If not, then keep boozing away, friends.
But you don't see me through, and I'm hazy and dark. Time is passing and calling for me now to open my ears and follow the sound. I can't wait to tell you what it's all about. And do you hear the flame that's glowing inside? Is leading me to you. Can I trust it? Be myself with you. I just wanna show you how wild it can